Hello, and welcome to this chapter, which is about the overlooked economics of technology. Now, this is where this paper starts to get a bit more controversial because there are some aspects of conventional wisdom that were true for many parts of the 20th century, but are now starting to not be as true because the technological component of the macroeconomy was too small to take into consideration before, but now is becoming large enough to really matter. Now, what I mean by that is first consider how we saw in the prior chapter that technologically deflating products and devices are now 2% of world GDP. And at 2%, that exerts a certain deflationary force. Like Moore's law indicates halvings every 18 months, so that's about 36% a year of price declines applied to 2% of the world economy. That comes out to about 0.72% structural deflation each year. I mean, that seemed like a lot, but when we talk about inflation of 1% versus 0%, and what is considered acceptable by central banks and policymakers versus too low, that does make a difference. More importantly, that 2% continues to rise. And before long, we'll get to 4%, then 6%, 8%, and so on. So we are on the brink of an age where technology will start to exert many forces onto the economy, many of which are deflationary. But this need not be a bad thing. All that means is that central bank QE, or monetary creation, has to match both the size and trajectory of technological change, which means it has to be exponentially rising and permanent. Many central banks maintain a balance sheet under the premise that the assets held on the balance sheet will be sold back into the market at a future date. That has to be done away with because they can never be sold back. If anything, the balance sheet itself is a moot concept. So when central bank or monetary creation has to rise exponentially, and it already is, if you look at the chart in this chapter, cumulative worldwide totals of monetary expansion have been rising in a classic parabolic rate, and now it is as high as 16 trillion as of 2015 and rising another 220 billion a month. So each $1 trillion now takes only 4 to 5 months to be added. We still don't see inflation. In fact, we have seen a collapse in all commodity prices and so on. Now, another aspect of the economics of technology that is very, very poorly understood is the economics of artificial intelligence. Always see our articles about how certain jobs will vanish because of automation or robotics or AI. That is completely not the right way to look at that, because for every job that's vanished, more jobs are created. Furthermore, for every job that can be done with AI, an employer or entrepreneur can now get that function for a lower cost and create a new business model. For example, if an accountant's job is now able to be performed through artificial intelligence, that means an accounting department that had 10 people and a total payroll cost of $2 million a year now exists for a much lower cost, and that same $2 million a year can be used by the employer to hire people in a place where artificial intelligence cannot do the job, such as sales, for example, or save that money and redistribute it to shareholders and so on. So to simply list how jobs will be removed and rather than how employers are also saving money in various ways is very, very incomplete. Especially since the most important aspect of artificial intelligence's economic effect is the fact that it has no border and can operate from anywhere. Therefore, it can be taxed the way a human can be taxed. And therefore, it is a technological disruption of taxation and government spending. And that is very exciting. And to read more details about that, I would encourage you to look at this chapter and share your thoughts in the comments by all means. Thank you.